Hello, everybody. This is Armastis, and you're watching Armastis Live, and we have another deck profile for you. Hello, everybody. We're doing, of course, the amazing Ritz Marche combo with the Emperor. In fact, I think I called this, let's see. I actually called the name of this deck Marche, Ritz, and the Emperor's Control. So this is not a original deck, of course. This was inspired by many decks. And fun little fact, this deck was actually a big reason as to what like really sparked my interest in the game. Like it was the art at first and then the code quality. But then as I did more research into what the game was like, how to play it, and like the different builds, the Marche Ritz thing was kind of like the top of its game. And I really liked it. It reminded me so much of like Yu-Gi-Oh! So Yu-Gi-Oh! Players out there, if you're looking to try something else, this deck may be the one for you. The cool thing too about this take on it, so this is my take, right? I took, obviously, a bunch of people's ideas. So I got it off ffdex.com, just so you all know. This isn't like my original ideas. No. I did do like some twists and turns and like things that I really wanted to play and things that I really wanted to try out. So that is what this build is. It's not my credit fully. I don't want to make it sound like it was all my idea. But yeah, so it's really cool. It uses the Emperor abilities, which I really like. It just helps keep this like, it's like this control, maintain, kind of beat down on the field. The downside to this build is that it is kind of slow still, somewhat. It depends. You know, I'd say by like turn 3 or 4, as long as you're not playing against something too aggressive, it really like explodes and like it just like really can take full control of the game, and it's hard to deal with for your opponent. Before we jump into anything else, so stay tuned this Sunday. We're going to be doing some more news, some more amazing news about the Final Fantasy TCG just came out from Square Enix. Super excited to go through that with you all. Let's see, any other announcements? Oh yes, I got the haircut. I know to me it's a big deal. It's been months, and I had mentioned it in the last video, but here we go, my haircut. Not that you care. Why do you care, right? What else? Oh, yes. Thank you for all of those who have followed. We got 3 new followers, I believe, in the last few days. That's awesome. You all are amazing. Let's keep the interest for this game going. Also, oh, it reminds me of something. So, you know, I was watching other videos, other VTubers about the Final Fantasy TCG, and also other people online, you know, through forums and community forums, blah, 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 about the TCG. And, you know, there's always this, it's funny, it reminds me of when Yu-Gi-Oh! When it was, like, this game's about 4 years old, right? And as I mentioned a million times, I started Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day when it was, like, 4 years old. I obviously don't do Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore, like, play it. I just collect lightly now. But at that time, the conversations were the same, like, is this game gonna make it? It's nowhere near as popular as Magic, and Pokemon was of course huge, and it was like a lot of Magic and Pokemon, and you know there was a lot of doubts around Yu-Gi-Oh! There were like pockets of like like a lot of popularity, but not as fast, and Konami was awful, and I can even argue still is really awful about promoting Yu-Gi-Oh! And I would say the best promoter of a TCG, it has to be Nintendo with Pokemon. And I think it's just because it's Nintendo. Wizards of the Coast, not great with promoting Magic, really. You know, I'd say they're better than what Konami does with Yu-Gi-Oh! But, you know, when it comes to Square Enix, I think because it is 4 years old, and I'm not justifying their behavior at all. No. I'm telling Square, if you're listening, if you watch little old Armastis, right, with my amazing, wonderful 40 followers, subscribers, listen, okay? Now listen to me. I'm helping you out here. Promote the game, okay? Follow Nintendo's lead, promote the game. You've already got the franchise. You already have the popularity. You got the name brand. Everybody knows Final Fantasy now at this point. I mean, really, everybody knows Final Fantasy, right? Come on, promote the TCG, and also on top of that, right? Love ffdecks.com, the community, what the people have done there. It's amazing and they do great work. Go check them out if you haven't. But Square Enix, you need to come out with a virtual game too. And you got to do what Pokemon does by releasing little promo or what is it? Scannable cards that give you virtual packs, right? So you buy a physical pack, real money, get a free virtual pack, play it in the virtual game, and that way you still have the physical game going, and now you got the virtual game going, and they just build on each other. You got to do it. You just got to do it, and people will come. I guarantee you. We already love the game, so keep it going. I'm kind of doing your job for you right now. Maybe you should sponsor me. Who knows? Maybe one day. Anyway. With all that being said, my email is in the video link description. Feel free to email me anytime, whatever it may be. Have lots of respect for you all, of course. And of course, links to betterhelp.com. I'm not a sponsor. I hope one day, if anything, that's probably what I want to be a sponsor for first, if that does happen, is for betterhelp.com. Mental health is super important. As I've mentioned before, I myself have had to live with depression my entire life. But I've learned through other support systems and what have you, like BetterHelp wasn't there for me. It didn't exist when I was getting my help, and it was hard, but I was very willing. Now it's easy, and let them, like I've had other people do for me, provide you the tools and the resources to learn how to take whatever mental health problems you have and use them for good. On top of that, take care of yourself. Love others. I'm done babbling. Let's jump into our March. Ritz and the Emperor's Control. All right, here we go. It's fun. I have so many. I got these like 2 widescreens here, right? And I whenever I'm doing these transitions, I'm so paranoid. I'm always looking everywhere. And I got my chat up here too, so I'm trying to pay attention in case anybody does chime in, because I know I do rush during the stream, but I like doing this live. It is Armastis live, because if anybody does want to chime in, I do want to, of course, give them my attention. But yeah, so it's like I'm like looking at these different screens when I'm transitioning, and I'm like, where am I? Where am I? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right there. Hi. All right, so let's see here. Let's make sure that we're all good. I want to make sure that my audio's, just do a quick audio check on here. Please give me one moment. And oh, what's going on here? Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're good. All right, let's jump into this build. Okay, I love this build. My friend that I play with on the weekends, she hates this build because of just like the immense, just like the power, right? There's not, like, it's not going to explode with a bunch of monster, or I'm sorry, a lot of forwards, not Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of forwards, right, in play, but you're going to get these just big old beasts of forwards, and it's fun because they have a bunch of cool abilities. I love the Marche Ritz thing. I'm also, I need to get my hands on a full art Ritz. It's a beautiful card. I don't have a full art. I need to get a full art of one of those. Anyway, so we'll just kind of course, I guess we'll just kind of go all over the place here. So let's start off, of course. Well, what is Marche? Who's Marche? Well, Marche, FFTA character. Here's the ability. If you control 2 or more category FFTA characters, the cost of playing Marche onto the field is reduced by 2 dose. When Marche enters the field, choose one category FFTA character of cost 3 or less in your break zone and play it onto the field. It's like a built-in, to use my Yu-Gi-Oh terminology, I'm gonna use a lot of it. It's like a built-in Monster Reborn. She just comes out and bloop, here comes an FFTA of cost 3 or less. In this case, what we want most of the time is, if not a backup, we want Ritz, of course, right? Ritz is amazing. This card is great. Ritz says if you control a category FFTA forward other than Ritz, Ritz gains plus 1,000 power and haste. So with Marche already being out there, Ritz is already going to get the power and the haste. When Ritz attack, just so those of you who don't know, haste just means the forward can declare an attack the turn that it comes out. Typically, there is a sleeping period where it is not able to do anything. It cannot attack until the next turn, but in this instance with haste, it can. The rest of the ability reads, when Ritz attacks, choose up to 3 backups you control. Of course, the backups are how we produce CP, which allows us to play cards. So when Ritz attacks, choose up to 3 backups you control, activate them. If you receive 3 points of damage, Ritz gains. Ritz cannot be blocked. It's amazing. This card is so broken. I love this card so much. So imagine this, right? You play your Marche. Let's say you can get it down to 3. Boom. You can discard Ritz, right? To get 2 CP. Player 1 fire that's already out on the play zone. Bring out Marche. Immediately brings out Ritz. Attack with Ritz, and you can just reactivate your three backups if you have 3. And then you can start playing other stuff. It is insane. Let's look at our other FFTA cards in this deck build here. So for its support to add on to that, we have Black Mage, right? It's just FFTA. It has this nice little bonus. Put Black Mage into the field, choose 1 fire, summon your break zone, add it to your hand. You play 2 fire and you dull it, and you can use this. It's a multiplier, that little 3 card up there in the upper right hand corner of the card, as you see. That means you can play 3 on the field. Typically, you can only play 1 of a card on the field. This one allows you to play 3 Black Mages, not this specific one, but 3 Black Mages that have that multiplier on the field. Our other FFTAs are No. I love this card. This card's great. I think I try to splash in No almost any time I have a build with wind in it. So No is just when a forward you control attacks, choose 1 backup you control and activate it. So it just gives them extra activation. And then we have a Mont Blanc, which I love. It's got X-Burst on it, which is great. X-Burst just means when you take a point of damage in Final Fantasy TCG, you take the top card from your deck and you put it in the, not the break zone, the damage zone, hello. And you get to use the forwards or backups or summons ability. I don't know if monsters have X-Burst effects. Are there monsters with X-Burst? Oh my gosh, I'm not sure if there are. There should be if there aren't. Anyway, this one is when Mont Blanc enters the field, you may search for 1 card named Marche. Okay, right. So here's, we look for Marche and add it to your hand. Great. You can also pay 1 fire and dull, and then choose 1 forward, deal it 2,000 damage. You can only use this ability if you control Marche on the field, which you probably most likely will anyway. Just cool little, FFTA. It just adds on to lower the cost of Marche. It's great. Boosts up Ritz, etc. And I think that is it for our FFTA cards. So the next big one that I want to touch on before we go into the other cards here is the Emperor. I think this card is fantastic. Is it slow? Yes. Can there be dead draws in this, or like slow or not great draws in this build? Yes, right? I mean, that's true for most anything. But I like the Emperor because here's the thing. If you can get the Emperor out early on in the game, the Emperor ain't going anywhere. The Emperor is not only a 9K power beast of a forward, right? I mean, it's huge. Does cost 5. Actually, not too bad though. That's not too bad when you think about it. It just stays out there. It's a defender. I think of this as like a defender more than an attacker, if anything. It is a constant defender against your opponent. It wants to take the damage. It wants to eat damage, either from summons, from monsters, from attacks, whatever it might be. It wants to eat the damage because when it's going to go to that break zone, when we read here, when the Emperor is put from the field into the break zone, you may search for 1 card named the Emperor and play it onto the field dull. It never leaves. It's incredible. It is incredible. So imagine you get him out early. He's just your wall, your 9K wall comes out. Here he comes again. Next turn, again, another wall or attacker goes to the break zone. Boom. Here he comes again. So he just never goes away. I wanted to splash in other Emperor cards, but then it just got like a little too crazy. And I think I was the deck was just like a little less consistent. So I just kind of dwindled it down to 3, but feel free to, of course, copy this deck profile. Link is in the video description. Give your edits, link me back. I would love to know how you all would do, what you all would do with this deck. I challenge you to keep Marche, Ritz, and the Emperor in it and make your, of course, modifications and let me know. I would love to see. I would love to see what you do with this. So that was the big inspiration for this build. Let me jump into some of the other cards that I personally really like that I've also seen that others have used. Let's go first. We'll just kind of, I guess, go down the line this right now. So we'll go with Suzukiza. Suzukiza is when your opponent's auto ability triggers, put Suzukiza into the break zone. When you do so, draw 2 cards. These effects will trigger once per turn. This is great. It's just a 1-coster, and it's basically a 1-cost draw 2 cards. What this is going to do for you, for this build specifically, is that it's going to allow you to help you build the resources to quickly go into the cards you need, right? Because you can kind of run out of cards quickly since things do cost a little high in general, somewhat high, like especially your bigger cards earlier on. So this one lets you replenish your hand, find what you got to find quickly. Your deck is already getting kind of like, with all the searching and everything you have already in this deck, your deck is slimming down, which is nice. So it lets you get to the cards you need. This is just one added thing. I like this card. I think it's a great card. So that's Suzukiza. That's why he's in here in 3s. It's a draw 2, right? As we all know, for any of us who've played TCGs ever before, drawing is fantastic until you can't draw anymore and then you lose. But until then, it's amazing. Let's see here. So Krill is just a great card. Krill is just going to allow us. I couldn't fit Terra in here. I wanted Terra, which lets us bring back a summon from our break zone into our hand. But she felt redundant, and she's a great card. I don't know. Let me know what you all think. I didn't use Terra. Instead, I was like, well, I have Krill, because the way Krill is like this infinite, almost, I want to be careful, but almost like an infinite resource that allows you to use summons, and on top of that, it lets you use your opponent's summons too, which is insanity. So we got 2 Krills in here. The next one here is Shadow Lord. This card is just fantastic. I saw this card in another build. I forgot what build it was. Some recent tournament happened, and somebody was using, I think, just one of these. And last weekend I was playing with a friend, and I ran 3 copies, I think, what did I splash this in? I splashed this into something. I forget what deck it was. But I used 3 copies of this card here, and I threw it in there. Oh, it was like a samurai. It was some sort of samurai earth build that I did. Anyway, I threw 3 copies in there. Just immediately, like, turn 1, boom, Shadow Lord, 9K, and every time it's like she was like, okay, you know, by the time turn gets to you and you play the Shadow Lord, your opponent is probably already used played their backup of cost 2 or less. So Shadow Lord has really no down effect, and even if they do play a free backup, it's still not a downside because it's just a beast. It's a 9K cost 2 beast of a card. Let's read it really quickly together. It says, when Shadow Lord enters the field, your opponent may play 1 backup of cost 2 or less from their hand onto the field. You can pay 1 earth until the end of the turn. The Shadow Lord gains Brave, which just means when it declares attack, it does not go dull, which is great. And X verse of cards put in the damage zone due to Shadow Lord cannot be used, which is also an amazing ability. So yeah, I see very little downside to this. It's a rare. It comes out of Opus 12. I think that there is going to be a rise. Personally, I think we'll see more play of this card. I think as more people start discovering its potential, it's just an easy cost to 9K power forward. Y'shtola, another 9K cheap card to bring out. Super fantastic. We all know this. Has haste, so can declare an attack the turn it comes out. If Y'shtola is dealt damage less than her power, the damage becomes 0 instead. So anything less than 9,000, it's just 0 damage to Y'shtola. She can just take it. She's super strong. She's amazing. Y'shtola cannot be blocked by a forward of cost 4 or more. So she just goes whoop, right over those big ones. Oh, Brassicas, no problem. I'm just going to bypass Brassicas and hit you to the face. It's fantastic. So next we got Gabbrinth. We all know Gabbrinth. Old Gabronth here. Classic, amazing card. So Gabbrinth here out of Opus 11. If you can find, what happened to Opus 11, everybody? Who bought them all? Who are you? Who are you? I want one more box. Please just sell me a box. Anyway, Gabrith here has the Experts effect on it, and when Gabrith enters the field, you may search for one forward of cost 5 or more and add it to your hand. If you have received 6 points of damage or more, Gabrith gains plus 3,000 power and Brave. Amazing. You can use the ability here, Sentence, which is you can discard a Gabrith and dull Gabrith, and then you choose one forward, deal it 3,000 damage and 1,000 more for each point of damage you have received. That's just like an added, you know, everyone, it's a nice to have effect. I've used it a few times. It's nice when you need it. The main thing you're using Gabrith here for is for the search ability. You want to look for Marche, your Brassicas, your Emperor. Like, it just helps you get to the cards you need super quick. It's a fantastic card. Yeah. If those of you who've been playing the game, you know how amazing Gabrith is. Kadaj is another amazing. I really like this card too. So Kadaj has Experts. When Kadaj enters the field, select one of the 3 following actions. Choose one forward, dull it. Amazing. Choose up to 2 cards from either player's break zone, remove them from the game. That effect is becoming more and more important nowadays. It's so good. Choose one forward until the end of your turn. It gains plus 2,000 power and Brave. Not bad. At the end of each of your turns, you may remove Kadaj from the game. If you do so, at the end of your turn, of your opponent's turn, play Kadaj onto the field. Okay. Okay. What? What? Okay, this card's been out for a little while, all right? And I know some of you are really familiar, but for those of you who don't, think about it. This card has 3 effects that we just read through. 3 really good, amazing effects, okay? It can keep using the effects over and over and over and over until your opponent manages to destroy it. Otherwise, Kadaj is going to keep on coming back. It is amazing. So imagine this. Kadaj is already just comes out, use the effect. You decide, I'm going to remove it. It's essentially out of it's just out of the reach of your opponent of like dealing any damage. Yes, it's 1 less forward, but by that point you're already kind of already have a lot of other forwards out in the field, so, or something else already out in the field, or maybe not. It just depends where where you're at in the game. But it's out of reach to your opponent. At the end of your opponent's turn, Kadaj just comes right back, bloop, and you get to use one of those effects all over again, and he just keeps on going. He's amazing. So moving on here, we of course now have Brassicas Final Aeon. If you all haven't got the picture here, this deck again is just basically my favorite forwards put together in here, right? Again, this deck was the one that really inspired me to get more into the game. I love just the whole Marche Ritz thing. And then all these other cards are just kind of like, ooh, these are some of my favorite cards. And they just kind of like play really well together as well. So Brassicas here, Final Aeon, we all know this card is a beast of a card. I mean, just look at them, right? So when Brassicas Final Aeon attacks or is chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities, so whenever it's even targeted, choose up to 1 forward opponent controls, deal it 10,000 damage. It's just boom, 10K. This damage cannot be reduced. Think about that. It cannot be reduced. Okay, so it's just going to slam your any forward that your opponent has 10,000. So it can avoid some of those like other effects that are like, say, oh, if this forward's dealt damage, reduce it, or blah 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 blah. Final Brassicas is like, nope, you're taking 10K to the face. This second part of the effect we really can't use because we don't have summoner forwards in this build, but we'll talk about it. It's kind of neat anyway. Discard Brassicas Final Aeon, choose 1 forward, deal it 10,000 damage. You can only use this ability if you control 2 or more job summoner forwards if Brassicas Final Aeon is in your hand. If we used summoners, which would be cool if we did, how cool would it be if like Marche and Ritz were both summoners? Oh my gosh, right? It'd be like 3, we're gonna use 3 Brassicas. But if we had 2 summoners out there, we can just discard Brassicas and just do 10K to something else. And again, it cannot be reduced. It's really awesome. Let's see here. In fact, Wait, can it be reduced? Yeah, I don't think it can be reduced. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that if you're doing the discard part. Anyway, moving on, let's go over really quickly our summons here. So we're using Blias here, mostly to draw. That's really why he's in here. I'm not gonna lie. The other stuff is an added effect. It's got X burst. Choose one forward until the end of the turn. It gains 1,000 power and first strike. That's really great, especially since we're using already a lot of high-powered forwards. Draw one card, so you get to just draw a card. If you have received 4 points of damage or more, it also gains haste until the end of the turn. So you're gonna find that sometimes, or I guess mostly on average, you'll probably have already taken 4 points of damage, but that's okay. Q-Sith is, okay, we all know Q-Sith, another X burst, choose one forward or backup in your break zone and add it to your hand. Yeah, that's just to help you get any, well, just to get whatever characters, or I should say forwards or backups you need for your given situation back into your hand. So there you go. I really like this card. I don't know why it's a common. I feel like this card should at the very least be a hero, but it is here. So Amaterasu, my favorite summon in the TCG, not in the game, but in the TCG. The game, I think it's Bahamut, I think is my favorite summon. And Shiva's really up there, but so is Odin. Anyway, Amaterasu, choose one auto ability, cancel its effects. If all this card said was just that, I think this card would still be really great and maybe cost one less, but it's not. It costs 3, and it says, if the canceled auto ability triggered from a forward, deal that forward 8,000 damage. Basically, negate a forward, deal it 8k. Let me tell you, for the longest time in other TCGs, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, we didn't have these kinds of abilities for the longest time, but now there's a lot of these kinds of abilities in Yu-Gi-Oh, and they're super important. Same thing with this game. Having Amaterasu has just become such a staple if you're running fire at all in a build. It is such a great summon to have. So looking at our backups, we're going to use Chaos because we're using a lot of darks in here. I do really like this card too. Chaos and Cosmos, I feel, are highly underplayed and underrated. I don't know why people aren't using it more. Am I missing something? It's just good. I think those kinds of cards, even cards like Kamari, if you're using, if you're not using light and dark, but if you're playing things like Krill, you should be playing those cards. They're cheap backups to get out there. So I don't know, am I missing something? So Chaos here is Chaos can be played on the field even if you control other dark characters. You can play 2 or more dark characters onto the field, so typically you can only play 1 dark or 1 light. In this instance, we're just only playing darks. If we were to play a light, it would destroy all our darks, so we can't do that, so just darks. You can play 2 or more dark characters on the field. If Chaos is on the field, Chaos can produce CP of any element. We already have 3 elements in here. We've got Krill. Yeah, it's gonna help. So Black Mage, we already talked about Black Mage. Let's talk about Weltrill here. So Weltrill, I put in here specifically to help with the blah draws or the blah hand. Sometimes, you know, if I get like 1 in my hand that I don't want of the Emperor, or if I have too many in my hand, I'm just gonna use a Weltrill to just kind of help refresh, you know, put the Emperor back in the deck. That Emperor needs to be in the deck and not really in the hand unless it's your first one. So you just want to get it back in there and you're just going to draw for a better resource. And Lael, I love this backup. It's put Lael in the break zone. You choose 1 summon of cost 4 or less and cancel its effects. It's like a backup slash, what's the, oh my gosh, what's the Mist Dragon? I almost forgot what it's called. I was about to call it a Wind Dragon. Mist Dragon. So it's like a backup Wind Dragon almost kind of effect where you cancel effects of summon. So it's really great added continuous protection. The Class 8th Moogles. I love these cards. They're so good. I don't know why people aren't using them more. So it's just, you know, it's wind, but it also produces earth. We have dominantly wind and earth in this build. So here's Class 8th Moogle. Why not? It can be either or. Tilica, I threw in here because, again, I really like this backup. I needed another backup, and I felt like this one was the better one. Let me know. I thought about this or adding another Shantoto, but I feel like 2 Shantotos are too much. I think you only need 1 Shantoto. and I also just like to say Shantoto, but we have Tilica in here instead. So Tilica is you dull it, and the cost required to play your characters on the field this turn is reduced by 1. It cannot become 0. You can only use this ability once per turn. This is really great, especially because you got some high cost things. It really helps out, and it's for the entire turn, which is fantastic. It just lets you kind of do more in a turn. You know, it kind of just raises that potential. I like it. It's Earth. Okay, so Nor's still in. Again, let's just search for one FFCC backup and add it to our hand. We have Tilica we can search for. We've got Lael to search for. We've got Waltrails to search for. So it's just good. It's in here. It's win. We only got one. I like it. Tyro, we all know Tyro. Tyro's amazing, and he's cute, and he's adorable. Look at him right there. I think he's standing. Is he standing on books? Oh yeah, he's standing on books. And he's got a peg leg. Isn't that adorable? That's a cute little. Is he a pirate or is he a scholar? I think it's a scholar, right? For some reason. Then why does he have a peg leg? I'm so confused by him right now. Anyway, he's got X-Burst. When Tyro enters the field, you may search for one forward and add it to your hand. I mean, search for forward, right? That's just such a great effect. It's X-Burst as well. If Tyro is on the field, the Tyro can produce CP of any element. If you receive 5 points of damage, at least, you can dull Tyro and choose one forward. It gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. I found myself using that ability a lot, actually. So I love this card. It is just a good one. It is staple at this point. I love Tyro. Shantoto! We all know Shantoto. Again, if Shantoto is on the field, it gains elements of fire, ice, wind, earth, lightning, water, basically almost everything. We don't really need the light or dark. Who cares? It's basically like chaos, cosmos, or Tyro, in my opinion. And when Shantoto, Shadow's cool though, but Shantoto enters the field, remove all forwards from the game. It's great card to have. I find this card useful when you're playing against an aggressive build. Usually when you're playing someone really aggressive and like that turn 1, they're just like, summon everything, you know, play everything, and they've got nothing else, and they played no backups, and they have 5 forwards that have haste, and they're all smacking you in the face, and then it's your turn. You're like, okay, you can at least play Shantoto, wipe the board clean, and kind of hit reset on that game, and you get a chance again. So I like Shantoto. It also helps deal with any kind of troublesome forwards as well. And if you're falling behind, it's like a good reset is how I see Shantoto. So I don't think you need more than one, but I see him as just like, her, excuse me. I see her as just like a just in case. All right, so let's go ahead. I think we've talked enough through this build. Let's go ahead and let's do a quick pretend simulation playthrough of this build. I want to really quickly check on my audio just to make sure we are good. Check it on here. And let's see here. Yeah, it sounds like we're good on our audio. Great. Let me know in the comments too if you're ever watching, or if even afterward if the audio does cut out. I'm sorry I'm doing this. I'm a little paranoid right now when it comes to doing this kind of thing live all the time. So I should probably put on headphones, but I just want to be careful, and I want to make sure you all get the right information, and I don't want to have to do this again and repeat myself because that gets a little tedious. As much as I love doing this, don't get me wrong, but I think the last, Wednesday, I had to restart 3 times because I was having issues. Anyway, let's go. Let's move on. I'm done babbling. You all don't need to hear me talking more. Okay. We're just gonna go ahead and go with our make-believe here. Let me get my noggin's in the way, isn't it here, huh? Let's see here. Oop, nope. Oh, there we go. Let's get my noggin over here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, where is it? Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, here. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, there we go. So, all right. So let's just pretend that this is our starting hand here. Again, we're using ffdex.com. I highly, highly recommend this site. The team is fantastic that's been working on this. Go join their Patreon, support them. You know, even if Square Enix ever does give us a virtual game, this is just a fantastic platform. I highly recommend it. I think they're going to be doing 2-player soon. The beta is open now for everybody to use this simulation. You don't have to be a patron anymore, but I recommend go join them. I think it's $2 a month at the very least. It's awesome. You get cool little status reports as well in your emails, and I've been thinking about going through some of those. We might touch on them on Sunday actually as part of our news section, but we'll see. I'm also going to be doing other kind of stuff too. But anyway, that's enough of that. So here is our starting hand, right? Maybe not the greatest, but not the worst. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a card here. Well, March there. We love you, March, but you really didn't help us out there. Not a big deal. So we at least got Chaos, which is fan-freaking-tastic. So we can get Chaos out there really quickly. And what I'm thinking what we may end up doing here is chucking the Q-Sith. Oop, nope, there we go. And the breakdown. And let's just get Chaos out there immediately onto the field. So the nice thing, we're in a situation, because we started nicely that we started with Shantoto. If we were to play against a super aggressive build, Chocobo, or any other madness out there, and your opponent just like 3-5 forwards and they're just out there and getting ready to smack you in the face, and this is what you have, right? So it's your turn now. Let's go ahead and draw our 2 here. We are in a great position if we needed to, that we can just pay 1. We can pay 1, discard 2, 4, 6. And so we have 7, and use Shantoto, wipe the field, kind of reset the game, and we're good to go. But in this simulation, we're going to pretend that that's not the case. Or maybe we should. Is that the worst situation? I'm trying to think. I want to simulate for worst case scenario. No, because I feel like that would even be really good for us. No, we're just gonna play it as is. So what we would do in this instance is we would discard our March for 2 CP, 2 fire. We're gonna play our Black Mage. Let's build up our backups here. I actually want to discard my Shantoto because I don't need him or her. We can get her later because we have other Q-Sis if we need her for later. And we're gonna really quickly now just play our Shadow Lord out here onto the play zone. And now immediately we have a 9K beast out here. Cost 2, didn't hurt us in any way. Oh well, our opponent gets to play a 2-cost backup if they hadn't already. Not a big deal. So there we go. We got Shadow Lord out there, and I think with that said, we would pass. We have a wall, so most likely our opponent is not going to attack, I would say on average. So we're going to go ahead and draw our 2. Boop. And let's activate, of course. Now we can start bringing stuff out. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We can use our Waltrill. I think we want to use Waltrill to do a little bit of some shuffling here. Or we can save it for in case we do get some bad draws, and I think we'll do that instead. Instead, we're going to play our Class 8th Moogle. Just get that out there already out of the way. We can go in for a 9K hit, or if we need to use it as a wall, we just keep them as is. If we had the Earth cost, we could have just like paid the cost and he would have kept Brave. But I think in this instance, to play it safe, we'll keep him up and we probably will not attack. And then we would draw, let's go ahead and activate our 2. We would draw our 2 here. And now it's just becoming beautiful here. So in this instance, what we would do is one wind, an Earth. We would just use our 1 fire here. We'd bring out Y'shtola here, which is freaking amazing. Let's see here. So we immediately get haste. So in this situation, what we can do is we can basically have one of these act as a wall. Y'shtola, because Y'shtola also, if it takes damage less than 0, it's probably going to be even safer. Or we can even just go in and pair these 2 up and go in for a party attack for 18K, which is nuts when you think about it. But in this instance, I think to play things safe, what we'll probably end up doing is we may end up just going in and hitting with Shadow Lord and keeping Y'shtola up like this. But let's just say we want to play a little aggressive. We go in and we do 2 points of damage. We say go. By this point, let's just say we end up taking 2 points. Oh, we just got rid of 2 Ritz. Oh, that hurts. Ooh, that's okay though, because we want worst case situations. Ooh, that does hurt though. I'm not gonna lie. That breaks the heart. Ugh. We still got 1 Ritz, but still. All right, let's go ahead and draw our 2. Okay. Woo. That hurt. Okay. So let's see. What do we want to do here? Let's go ahead. Let's go 2. Let's get 3. Let's go ahead and go 4, 5. Let's get Tyro out. And with Tyro, let's very quickly. At this point, I don't know if we care so much to get our other Ritz. I mean, it's a nice to have. I wonder if we want to get the Emperor out right now. Let's just say in this instance, we'll get Emperor. I think Emperor would probably be a better. Actually, no, I'm not liking that. Let's get our Ritz. I think Ritz probably be the wiser of them all. Or we can also get Galbranth, which again lets us do some more searching to really dwindle down. Let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just get Ritz instead. I like Ritz. So let's go ahead and get Ritz instead. Let's go ahead and shuffle. Nope. Okay, so here's our Ritz. And FFTA, let me see, we only have 1 FFTA out there on the field right now, actually. We're still holding on to our wall trill in case we want to do some shuffling later. I think in this instance, we probably just pass. We probably would just attack with 1, say go. Let's just say our opponent manages to take out something. We'll destroy a Stola. Let's go ahead and draw our 2 here. I love it. What is in our break zone? I think we already got rid of 2 of our marches. We did. Oof, that's rough, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and let's go with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's get Mont Blanc out there. We already have our marches, so we can't really do first search there. But we're gonna go ahead and do 1 red and discard our Ritz. Let's go ahead and get Marche out there. Let's bring out our Ritz right here. Ritz does have haste. She can be blocked, but I think we'd be kind of safe here. But in case we're not, what we could do is we can go ahead and pay 1 red here, discard 2, play an Amaterasu to clear up any nuisances that we may have, is what I would probably like to do in this situation. And then go in and attack with Ritz. Let's activate, and I guess, let me think here. Choose 1 forward, deal 2,000. Actually, I think we would activate this one instead. We'd activate these 3 here. That looks good. Just in case, just in case. Okay. And we could probably, I would say that's it. So at this point, they would be at 3. Let's say they do find a solution and finally get over the Shadow Lord. That's okay. We'll take maybe we'll take 1 point damage. Great. We'll do Belias. We'll draw a card. We get another insane Shadow Lord. Let's go ahead and activate all. Let's go ahead and draw 2. Again. Perfect. Let's do our 1. Do 1 Earth and get Suzukiza out in the field. My gosh. Just in case, so we can have that preparation to draw 2 more. Let's go ahead and do 2 Earth. Why not? And let's get a Shadow Lord out there again. And of course, we can go ahead and potentially go in for another attack and maybe even reactivate 3 here. And potentially attack here. We have Shadow Lord again for protection. If they manage to get Shadow Lord, rid of Shadow Lord, that's okay. If they use a auto ability from one of their from, I guess, when your opponent's auto abilities triggers from really anything. Wow, that's not bad. This would go to the break zone and we would draw our 2 here. Of course, we're just simulating. We're all pretending here. Activate all, draw. right? So we're still keeping board presence. This is really great right here, actually. This is fan-freaking-tastic. Wow. So let's go ahead and do 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's play the Emperor, which is amazing. We go in and we would attack with Ritz, which we would then reactivate these 3. Maybe we would attack with Marche. I guess that just kind of depends. I say we go, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. And we also play our Kadaj. And because we have Chaos out here, we can play our Kadaj now. We can use that effect as necessary, which is awesome. And then we can also remove Kadaj from the game, right? And then if turn passes back to us, Kadaj comes back, activate all. We get to use Kadaj's ability again, draw our 2 cards. And yeah, as you see, things just keep going and going. Let's go ahead and let's look on time here. We're going to do really quickly one more simulation here. Yep, just to see how this plays out. So we had a bit of a bad case scenario, which was great, because then we see what happens with a bad case situation. So let's see, how would we start this turn? What would we do? Of course, we want to go Q-Sith. Boom, Shadow Lord. Let's get Amaterasu. Boom, Black Mage. We're not worried about discarding our summons because we got Krill here, of course. And turn, I guess in this instance, we actually probably would have gone second, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and now activate everything, and we draw 2. Draw our 2 here. Oh my gosh, Kadaj is so good. Let's see here. What we could do, of course, we have this as a wall, right? So the whole point too of these bigger guys here is if anything, we do have a wall here. And if I were playing, I do play a little greedy sometimes. I know I shouldn't. Sometimes it's my downfall, is why I lose. But I don't think I'm going to play anything unless it really calls for it, like with maybe bringing Kadaj out here. You know, given Shadow Lord Brave, but I don't think we need it. And we can actually afford some damage, so we'd go in and hit for 1. Activate all. We can go ahead and draw 2 cards. We got the Emperor, which is not a biggie, not a bad deal. We're going to go ahead and discard Ritz, because we kind of want Ritz in the break zone anyway. We're going to go ahead and play our Chaos, which is a fantastic card. So now we've got 2 out there. Let's see here. Again, we can go ahead and go in. We'll hit it for 1 more. And then we will also this time take some damage. Oh, X-Burst, not a big deal. That's nice. Let's search. Let's search ourselves for a nice fancy forward. We're either going to get Marche or Gabrith or Ish. Let me think here. I kind of like Marche. Marche seems to make most sense. We're going to go with Marche. All right, let's go ahead and draw our 2. And let's see here. We've got, what are our options here? So what do we have in our break zone? We have an Amaterasu and a Q-Sith, which is fantastic if we need to use it with Krill's effect. And of course, we have our opponent's summons, which we can look at. But let's say we need to clear some stuff out. So let's go ahead and instead of using our Amaterasu, let's go ahead and do this. Instead of the 1 in the hand, let's go to the break zone. Let's bring Amaterasu back in our hand with Krill's effect. And actually, and to be fair, I want to actually redo that there. I would have actually discarded Q-Sith to bring out Krill. And then I would have had this right here. So what I would do then is I would pay, I don't want to do this. I'd probably pay 1 here and, ooh, I don't know if that would have been right. I think I may have done a boo-boo. Let's redo that. Ignore everything I just said. Let's go and put Amaterasu back in here. So let's rethink this. We can do better. I think what we could have just done instead is, I like this move instead. We're going to go ahead and still do Q-Sith. We're going to play Krill. We're not going to use the ability this time around because we really don't need to, although we could use the Q-Sith if we wanted to. But let's look at it one more time in the break zone here. I don't think there's anything worth that we really need, though. Let's see here. Yes, I know what we can do. So let's say we do use it. We bring back Q Sith. Let's play our 2 Earth, 4 Q Sith, which gets removed by Krill's effect. Let's go in here. Let's get our Ritz to our hand. Ha! Let's get Ritz in the break zone. Let's play our Wall Trill. Why not? And do I want to shuffle back Dodge or Amaterasu? I kind of don't want to do either of them right now. I think we're good, but I do want the backup out there, which is more important to me at the moment. Or maybe even the Marche. No, I think we're good. So in this instance, I think what we can do again is just go in for one more hit. We can afford some damage. Okay, that one hurts a little bit. But let's go ahead and draw our 2. And we're in a great position once again. So let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Let's get our Marche out here. And of course, our Ritz. We say we go in for an attack. We reactivate 3 again. And in this instance, what I would personally like to do, because I'm playing a little greedy, is I like to get Amaterasu in here for 2, and play 3, 4, 5. And I can either do Ishtola or Emperor, but I kind of want to play Emperor really quickly, act as my wall. And in this instance, I probably would have actually attacked with Shadow Lord, actually, when I think about it. If I would have thought about it a little bit more. And now I have Emperor as a wall. If my opponent does party and go in for an attack, I want to block with Emperor. Emperor goes to the break zone, and then Emperor comes back. Is that all the Emperors? Oh no, I was about to say. Emperor comes out dull. And yep, so it comes out dull. I would shuffle and then turn back to me. Haha. Let's go ahead and draw my 2. Look at how my field is looking. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. 1, let's see here. Actually, we want, yeah. Let's do, yeah. Yeah, that's what we want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get Kadaj out there. Boop. Use the effect on maybe on giving Brave and 2000 to something. I might give it to possibly Ritz here. Maybe. Or Marche. One of the two somewhere. I would figure it out just because it kind of would depend. And then I'd go 1 and 2, 3 and get a Ishtola out here as well. And now we have this amazing party out there. Okay, I think you all get the point. I really like to simulate this deck. I just love the way it feels. It is a little slow, but it is a beast of a deck. I really like it. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, links are in the video description. Let me know your thoughts on this deck profile. Feel free to take it, copy it, edit it in ffdecks.com. Send me back in the comments or an email. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions, preferably in the comments, that way others can also see and give them a chance to also play test your deck of, you know, whatever you do here. The only challenge I leave to you is to make sure you keep Marche, Ritz, and the Emperor in there, specifically this Emperor right here. But feel free to modify it in any other way. Thank you all again for watching. You all are awesome. Remember that you are wonderful, you are beautiful, and you're loved. And until next time, bye-bye.